I think that's a perfect like example of a way that Pentagon is so good at everything that they do. I just
Howdy meowers.
Greetings.
I'm Toad.
Hi, Toad. It's nice to have you here today. I'm Devin, for everyone that doesn't remember my name, even though it's always Devin. That's who I am, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Well, guess what we are doing today, everyone? You don't need to guess because you can already tell that we are reviewing. Is that what we should call it? Reviewing?
Yeah.
Like discussing every Pentagon music video from pre-debut until now. And now is the Pado Japanese music video. That is where we are going up to.
Yes. If we forgot one, sorry.
Yeah. And if like you might be like, why are you considering that one? And why are you not considering that one? Well, just because, okay? Like we've got 24 videos that we're working with today. There is actually going to be a second part. And we are going to end today with Naughty Boy. So we're doing just over half of the videos.
Yes, and why are we doing this, and why now?
Well, because Pentagon is going to be having their 7th anniversary on October 10th.
Whoa!
Stand Pentagon. If you don't stand Pentagon yet, we really, really need you to stand Pentagon. Honestly, we don't really know what the situation is with Pentagon. It's been literally over a year, not that far from 2 years since their last Korean comeback. Yenon is, he hasn't been active as a Pentagon member, really. Yuto's been in Japan. We don't really know the direction that this is headed.
But you should stand Pentagon regardless. It's not too late. And so basically, if you don't already, what we're going to want you to do is we're going to want you to go and watch all 24 of the videos that we're going to be talking about. Listen to our words and just feel and agree and understand how good they are the way that we do.
Right, exactly. And you can also listen to our BlushCat episodes where we've talked about Pentagon. So yeah, be sure to do that, please. And here's the thing. I've been a Universe since I became familiar with Pentagon from Shine, of course. Wow, basic, I know. But like the Naughty Boy era, I was kind of hanging out for. By Cosmo, I was like fully in it. So I've been through quite a bit, of Pentagon. And so that's just some background in case you were wondering.
And a little more background in case you're new here. Our whole BlushCat podcast became what it was and became a thing because of Pentagon and one specific stage performance that they did of Shine. So really BlushCat is deeply rooted in Pentagon and their history.
Yes, which is really great, really nice. We're going to be using some nicknames for some of the members. If you are not familiar with those, you can't really can't really hear why we gave them those nicknames because
it's gonna be a long story short sort of situation here. You missed out.
Yeah, so just you're gonna have to use context clues to figure out who we're talking about. But anyway, well, we might be like, okay, yeah,
we can define it maybe, but yeah.
So anyway, Stan Pentagon. We're starting with the Young music video.
Yes, like she said, like Toad said, pre-debut is where we're starting. And so Young, it's not even the group called Pentagon yet at this point, right? But like for all intents and purposes, it is Pentagon. So
here we go. We're dropping our reviews, our thoughts. Young was released on July 8th, 2016, okay? And keep in mind, Pentagon debuted on October 10th, 2016. So they released this video, and it's a very interesting video. Why don't you go ahead and share your thoughts?
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting is definitely a word I would use. Basically, I'm conflicted on this music video. I'm very conflicted because so that basically, if you're not familiar with it, or like if you just went and checked it out and you don't understand the reference, they're referencing the show, yeah, it is a show. The show Show Me the Money, which is a show that's for like a rap competition for wannabe rappers to go on, or established rappers as well. But they're referencing that show. That's why it's called Show Me the Young. And I mean, they did a fantastic job referencing the show. Like, that is what it looks like when it starts with the audition thing or whatever and stuff. Like, it was accurate. But is being accurate something that I like or something that I don't like in this situation? I know they were going very, very, very strongly for a comedic element. I see that. But at the same time, and so I think that that's funny. Like, I think the video is funny. I also think that, they did a good job. The vocals are good. Hui's vocals, wow, oh my God. At that one part, like, there's a lot of good things to talk about. But the way that it, like, makes me a little bit conflicted, the part that I get hung up on, is the, like, little, insert sequences of some dancing that seems to be a little bit more serious.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And so it's like, so it's not just a comedy video, but like it is comedy, but then those other parts I feel like are more like BTS, We Are Bulletproof, No More Dream sort of era. Like, they were being serious.
Yeah, like they thought they were really cool during those parts, I think.
Right. That's the way that I feel about those videos. And so that's the way that I start to feel a little bit about the dance portions of this Young video. But then the rest of it is like, ironic and understandably funny. So I'm like, I don't know. Do I just take it as a whole joke, or is it a little cringe still? I don't know if I should think it's cringe or not. But it's good.
Like, I can't tell the level that they're going for on the comedic versus cool scale. But looking back at it now, it's pretty funny. You can't deny that it's a good like fun time looking back at all the Pentagon members acting like that, because I mean, is that their concept now? Not at all. Yeah, but we didn't have all of the members like really, really partaking in this one either, which is interesting. But it's like Pentagon Maker time, like throwback kind of to what they were doing on the show, which I tried to block most of Pentagon Maker out. So going back to watch the Young video is like, okay, I remember Pentagon Maker now. But yeah, this was just their pre-debut video, okay? Just their pre-debut. So yeah, we should move on to Gorilla.
Okay, now Gorilla, as their debut song, you might still find surprising because you're like, wow, yeah, this isn't really their concept. But at the same time, the amount of groups that seem to debut with this specific sort of concept and aesthetic is a lot. And apparently it transcends time, because that was my big, like, noticeable point of this one, is how much it reminded me of, like, there's a scene that is so reminiscent of BTS No.
Yeah.
And then also it gives me vibes of Monsta X. It was either Trespass or Rush Hour, one of their early songs.
Not Rush Hour.
Not Rush Hour? Okay.
Rush.
Oh, Rush. What's Rush Hour?
Like, I don't know the Rush
Rush
video.
Hour's the
I don't
new
remember
song.
it. But yeah, Rush Hour is the new
Okay. Why do groups always have to do that? It's so confusing. But yeah, like basically both of those groups had very similar aesthetics in some of their very early like debut time videos, but like they were debuting at a different time than Pentagon was. But Pentagon was also doing that aesthetic. So I'm like, is that just the like boy group debut aesthetic? And like why is it? Because it's not good.
Yeah.
So I'm not really the biggest fan of Gorilla personally, but I mean, it's not that bad in like general terms. It's really not that bad. And like in terms of the visuals of the members themselves, like I feel like they still had good visuals, like even though you would think that it could be like kind of cringier. Like if I think of early BTS, early Monsta X, early EXO, any of those groups that started very like hip-hoppy, early New East even, like, you know, the styling and stuff gets a little like, ooh god, like I can't believe they look like that. But yeah, but Pentagon is like, they look fine pretty much, I'd say. Like, it's not weird.
I agree with what you're saying. Like, it could have been worse, but I don't really like prefer it. I'm not like, ooh, turn on the Gorilla music video. The hairstyles were a choice. Like, that was an active choice that was made. Like they all had that little like a little haircut. Yeah, very like if you know the BTS No music video, I feel like you can't really not think of it when you watch Gorilla. But honestly, it's just there's not a lot going on. So by the end of it, you're like, yeah, I watched the Gorilla music video. But, you know, it was their debut. They were doing it. Gorilla's not, like, a bad song to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about Can You Feel It, which was their first comeback. Wow.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, so...
Would you like to talk about it, Toad?
Yes, please. So this video was released on December 6th, 2016. And yeah, so they had the music video for this song, which was the title track, but then we're going to talk about after not a title track music video, but like a B-side that they also promoted a little bit, which is pretty. But the Can You Feel It music video, my thoughts are Yenon. Okay? Yenon. Like, wow. He got so much feature part in this video and song. I feel like that's honestly probably the best part about it.
Okay.
That's just what I feel personally. I feel like this one really gets forgotten a lot. But I think that like the main problems though are just the styling, and that to me it feels very long.
Ooh, okay.
Like I don't know, I just always feel like Can You Feel It really feels like a long song and like a long video. But they were really trying something, you know, with the table and like the mirrored effect, which is cool. It's got some like some boyfriend Janice vibes.
Oh, okay.
And Jinho really goes off at the end.
He does.
With the like you make me crazy part. That was really good. And then there's this one move where Jinho spins to the front, and I just think it's funny. But you know, it's still Gorilla sort of aesthetic, sort of with the video, or like the vibe, the essence that they're bringing to the table. So that's not my preferred concept, but yeah.
Okay, so first, can I just say, as we go through these, I was actually surprised to see how many of them had Yeon in them, because I feel in my heart and my soul that Yeon is never there. So like when I was just like, oh, he's in this video too, like, oh, he's in the video, I kept being surprised, and I'm like, but he's there in more than I thought he was. And he is in this one, and he does do a good job. Everyone does a good job, okay? They are, you know, doing the best with what they have.
Yeah.
And that's really my main problem with this music video is it was just blah. I just, I said blah, concept is blah. Like, to me, it's not like, I know they do the table thing with the mirrored thing, like, and it almost gives you like a Alice in Wonderland vibe or something, but it's just not there for me. Like, I don't feel like they chose a strong enough concept, like, at all. Like, I just feel like, what is the Can You Feel It music video? Like, what's the concept? I don't know. It doesn't have one. And so that's where, like, I just don't like, this is probably one if not the worst of the music videos for Pentagon for me, because I just feel like it's nothing. Like, they have the marching band outfits on or whatever, but like, why? Like, what is that? And then the table, like, it was weak conceptually for me. But they did do a good job. Like, they were serving with their performance, but it's just like, as far as a music video goes, there wasn't enough there for me.
That's a good point. I think that Pentagon is always delivering, no matter what they're performing. Well, obviously, right? These are facts. Like, we've known this about Pentagon, Stan Pentagon, but like, no matter what their concept is, no matter where they're performing, who they're performing for, what the setting is, if it's a music video or like a live clip or a performance or something, anything, they're always performing and they're always doing a really good job.
Yes.
So that is something that really needs to be emphasized, because I just feel like for some reason they're not getting recognized enough for that.
Yeah, just some wild reason.
Yeah.
We can't really place our fingers on it, but
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel that way. Oh wait, but also, can I say something that I've forgotten to sort of be bringing through as a through line here. I know I said that Young I thought was funny and like it had comedic elements to it, but like, I want to point out that is something that I feel is coming back a couple of times. So like, let's not forget that was the initial thing that we ever saw, Pentagon, quote unquote, doing. Except obviously people saw them on the show Pentagon Maker. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying music video wise. And it takes us to our next music video, right?
Right. So now we're moving on to the Pretty Pretty music video, which, like I said before, is not a title track, but they promoted it when they were promoting Can You Feel It? And this music video was released on January 22nd, 2017. And when I'm saying the dates for all these videos, please understand if I have the incorrect date, as it might have been like the time zones,
Right.
being different.
Like, it was uploaded on their anniversary in Korea, but that's like a different time for other places of the world, so YouTube writes it as something different. That could be the types of things that are happening.
Right. So, how did you feel about Pretty Pretty? How do you feel about it? We've seen it a lot.
Yes, Pretty Pretty, I think, is a good video. Because one, it is funny. So there's the through line. They immediately introduced us to comedic elements in music videos when we first saw them, and then now they're bringing that back already with Pretty Pretty. They made a funny video, but even more so than it just being funny, it's got a much stronger concept and aesthetic than Can You Feel It has. I think it's highly improved in that regard. And then also, it's our first music video from Pentagon that is more of like a story music video. It has like, it's not just like sets and, scenes. Because sometimes they can have a story, but they don't like look like a story. But this one looks like a story.
Yeah.
And I think they did a good job. I think it's funny, like I said. And I also really like the color palette. Like, I don't like the color palette in terms of like, ooh, I like that color palette. But I like the commitment to the color palette. Like, I think it's a strong color palette throughout the video, and it worked very nicely. And I like the song, so.
Okay. Yeah. So it is very funny. There are a lot of different elements we're working with that make it funny, particularly the on-screen text. I really enjoy that addition. So we have Chungha as a featured guest in this music video, and she actually is playing herself apparently. And so there's the whole Kino versus Yawon arc. Okay, we've got a whole K-drama going on, or like a web drama. If we're being honest, this is one of my favorite Pentagon music videos. I really enjoy it. We've got, like, you know, the whole story, like you said, and the members are trying to hype up Yawon to get him to have the dance battle in the end with Kino, but then Kino suddenly falls and Yawon gets in the club, and like suddenly Chungha isn't worried that he was stalking her the whole time. Like, it's really funny and enjoyable to watch.
Yes. I like that they didn't go for the obvious and overdone, all the guys are trying to, you know, get in the club, and like, we're not talking about a dance club. Well, we are talking about a dance
It's
club.
not like the club, it's like a school club.
Right, for dance.
Yeah.
A school dance club. And it's just, you know, they just made there be like one member of the group that's like pursuing this, and then the other ones are like hyping up their friend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was nice. I think the whole thing just worked well. Yeah, it's nice.
And besties Kino and Chungha, and then when all the members are like watching them outside the school, that part is so funny. Yeah, I really enjoy it, and it reminds me of the K-drama Sassy Go-Go, alternative title Cheer Up, but not the recent Cheer Up K-drama. I'm talking like the one that's title is also Sassy Go-Go with Eunji from A-Pink. It reminds me of that a lot because there's a dance club in that, and it's obviously like the way this video is like a K-drama, so it's got those vibes, which is nice and classic, and it's probably one of the reasons I like it even more.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty. Now it's time to talk about Critical Beauty, which was released on June 11th, 2017. And we are now moving into one of their next albums, their third EP.
So what did you think about this one, Toad?
Well, okay. I'm going to be pretty real here. I don't really like this video or the song that much.
Whoa.
The song is not unlistenable, but like, I did actually listen to it a good bit for a while, but now I'm like, yeah, it's not, like, I've heard it enough now that I'm kind of over it. No offense, I love Pentagon. But I just really dislike the circus aesthetics, and like all the other aesthetics of like that aspect of the video, but some of the aesthetics of the video with like the matching outfits and stuff and like the shots they have going on, those are really cool actually. So there's like a lot of fun elements in that regard. There's no Yenon, okay? That's a big reason to dislike the video. And this isn't really a bad thing, but like I can't not think of Asgard, the group like that the idol group they played in that drama. And I just really don't like the entire end part with like the performers. Like I don't like that part.
Okay, so I sounded shocked and stuff when you were starting to say that, but that was more so just because I didn't really think that you could say that about Pentagon in any capacity.
I feel like I can't, like, I have so much respect for Pentagon, and I know the caliber that they can achieve, that I feel like that's okay to be like, this one's not my favorite. I don't hate it or anything, but it's just not my favorite.
Right. Like when they have like 15 bajillion different songs and music videos and things, and like, the vast majority of them are amazing. Sometimes there's going to be stuff that's just kind of like, okay, yeah, I mean, that one was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I don't really like this one either. And I never liked it. I remember seeing it back in the day and being kind of like, oh, great. Okay, the Critical Beauty music video. Sure. I love to watch this one. I never really cared about the song. I never really cared about the music video. But I have to, give it her what it's due. I have to, there's some things about it, okay, that are good. Let me point them out. So basically we saw with Young the strong aesthetic that they picked, and then Gorilla kind of had like basic aesthetic that other groups have used. Can You Feel It? I already said kind of had no aesthetic. Pretty strong. And then Critical Beauty, strong. And then from this point forward, we don't ever really, I don't think, get very many weak aesthetics or concepts. From this point forward, every time Pentagon is like delivering, they're like, this is what we're going for with the music video, like aesthetically, visually, and we're going to bring it to you.
That's true.
Yes. And so they brought us Carnival. And what was it? When we did a previous episode and we talked about the Google Translate music video translation thing that we did.
Oh yeah.
And I talked about Crazy Night, and they translated something to vaudeville.
Yeah.
No, this is what they needed to translate to vaudeville. This is carnival, vaudeville, that sort of vibes. And they had that as a concept. And while I don't really care for that concept very much, I think it went well with the sound of the song.
Yes.
And I think that they delivered it. They didn't do it in too disgusting of a way. If you think like Carnival from Madeline, the Madeline movie,
yes, Madeline.
Carnival,
Mm-hmm.
like that's, going to give you nightmares. They didn't go that route. We have to be thankful of that. And then also, as you mentioned, the matching outfits, particularly the twinning looks. They had one look was each person was matched exactly with another person, so they were wearing the same thing. What I like about that the genius behind it, because it kind of seemed random to me at first. I was like, why are they doing this? Like, it seems kind of weird, because especially when I saw Jinho and Roni being matched wearing the same thing, I was like, why? Like, they don't look the same. Why would they make them the same? But it's the carnival vibe, guys. It's like looking in a funhouse mirror. It's like they gave each person a partner, and they like make them mirror each other in the poses and stuff like that. And it's fun because it gives you kind of like like you're looking in a funhouse mirror. Like, oh, they're dressed the same, but it looks different. And I think that was an extra commitment to the concept there. And I appreciate that. And then they go all out. Like, I don't like the performance at the end either, but they go all out with the carnival vibes. So, I don't like this music video in general terms of, like, I enjoy watching it, but I still at the same time think they did a good job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It's just, I don't really like the aesthetics of the circus, but they definitely achieved the aesthetics of the circus in a decent way. And I already acknowledged it, and like the twin outfits, the matching attire, and how I said I do like the aesthetics of that, but I do think it's pretty iconic. Like, yeah. I need to mention that iconicness of it, and I would like to see other groups try that. Like, yeah, that's probably the best part, like seeing those like shots of like, Jinho and Roni and Tony and Yawon, and like unfortunately Yenon, like I said, wasn't in it, so Shinwon didn't have his matching pair, but like those scenes, there's something about those that's really interesting and really cool looking. So yeah, that's the Critical Beauty music video. But now we are going to talk about the 2 Universe video, which is a special video. It's not a title track. They didn't promote this song, but there was a video released for it on July 25th of 2017.
Yes, and it's labeled as a music video, and it's like in their playlist for music videos, so we are considering it today. Although it's less music video-y than sometimes people would consider a music video.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be like, oh, this is just like a, fan compilation release video to a song.
Yeah. But we wanted to mention it, so I'll just say what I have to say about it, because I don't have much to say. I will say, I almost never watch this one. I don't really feel that there's a reason to. It's a little bit like, now, like, watching it, it's like, oh, like, that's sweet. Like, it's got that, that vibe to it. And I appreciate that it does have, like, minimal actual fans. I'm really sorry if that, like, if you really love that kind of content, or if you are, like, in that and you're like, oh man, I remember that event and I really wanted to be featured more, or like, I'm really glad that I was featured. But I'm never a fan of when they show, like, crowds, fans, audience. Like, I don't like that.
Like, the general vibe of, like, fangirling, we usually don't want to see. Like, if they pan to the audience and the people are, like, acting like that, we're like, please stop.
Right. So
sorry.
Yeah. So this had very minimal that. It was more like Pentagon and their, like, debut story. So I don't really have anything else to say.
I thought it was boring.
Okay.
But that's to be expected from me. It didn't get too, like, deep into a zone of being like, wow, oh god, it's for the fans, and I didn't feel that way. So it's just like, yeah, it was nice. Like, it's a nice video for them to have put together and stuff, but, like, I don't really care about it.
Yeah. They didn't go, like, overly, we're gonna touch your hearts, and they didn't go overly, look at all our fans.
Yeah. And I wouldn't super consider it like a music video, but like, they considered it a music video, so we are talking about it. But in general terms, like, I don't want to, try and break it down the way that we were doing the other ones, because it's kind of just like, it was a compilation of clips, so it's fine.
Yes. Similarly, the next video that we're talking about is When I Was in Love, which was released September 9th of that year. And this is labeled as a short film because it was a track that just was never promoted. It doesn't even have Pentagon in the music video, and it's not even to the entire song. But we're talking about it anyway. The only thing that I have to say about this one is I'm not really sure why there's a video for it. But there's nothing really wrong with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was weird, because I just didn't understand its place, basically, I was like, okay, it doesn't have Pentagon, it's not the whole song, like, what is it? But at the same time, I also thought it was interesting. She's, like, building a pentagram on the floor with the burnt matches. Okay, she's building a pentagon, okay? A pentagon. But, so yeah, it was short. It was weird, but I was intrigued. I was kind of like, why? Why is she doing what she's doing? Like, she's going crazy. Like, she's addicted to lighting these matches. It's kind of weird. And I think it had a nice aesthetic, Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, well, we are going to talk about Like This, okay? This is ushering in a new era, more so than When I Was in Love. We're not really going to count that one as ushering in the new era. So this was released on September 6th, 2017. And this is the title track. This was the turning point, I think. It was, Pentagon starting to really make their music and work on the choreography, work on, they were really getting involved more on the title tracks. And obviously we know at this point how involved they are. So this was the turning point, in my opinion. The aesthetics aren't great, but the vibes are. That's how I feel about this one.
Okay, yes. Yeah, basically I said in my notes here, the aesthetic goes well with the emotion. Like I don't like the visuals of this video personally. It's not my aesthetic, but I think it's very fitting. You know, it's simplistic, but it's clean, but it's like, just some regular boys that are just feeling emotional. But also Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
You if you don't see Diddy Kong when you watch this video, then Google a picture of Diddy Kong, okay? And then you will never not see Diddy Kong when you watch this video.
It's true.
So, yeah, I think that this is sort of, I feel like we're starting to tie in and start to see and build my through line that I have, which I keep forgetting to talk about, but because this is not comedic, and that's sort of all I've talked about so far. But we had the comedy, and we pulled that into Pretty Pretty, right? And with Pretty Pretty, we had like the comedy of an underdog, of like someone that was, fighting, they were troubled in some way. And so now we've matured a little, we've pulled away from the comedy for a moment, but we've got that troubled sort of angstiness building here in like a smooth way. And that sort of is going to like continue to build through to the later things that are coming up. But yeah, I never really cared about I always thought, I'm not really sure how big of a I support Pentagon, but I'm not sure how much of a fan I would be in terms of them musically, because a lot of their songs that it's like so Pentagon sound, I was always kind of like, yeah, I just don't really care about that kind of music. But then in like, I don't know, 20 something or other, they started every title track they were releasing, I was like, oh my god, I love this, it's fantastic. But the earlier sounds that I think are very distinctly like what I think of as Pentagon sounds, I actually don't care about that much. So it's like I don't really care about this song, but once again I still think that they did a good job. And if you're done, you don't have anything more to say?
I do have more to say.
Okay, then let's throw it back to Toad here.
Okay, I actually really love Like This as a song, and like I said, the actual video, like the aesthetics of it, I'm not like I love this concept and the way the video looks, but I do love the vibes, like you said. They're just like, we're getting more story, more acting, more emotion from them. Yenon, okay, Yenon's really getting a lot of feature time in this again. Yuto and his striped turtleneck is everything to me. I love that look. And then I guess I don't really want to spoil it or like interfere on something that I know you're probably going to want to mention, but the through lines, the connecting points with the Runaway video are there.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, like you were saying, we're kind of getting, starting with 2 Universe, maybe you could even consider, and then that random one, When I Was in Love, and then now this one, like the emotional element of the videos are getting deeper.
Yeah.
So, like they were more surface level emotion that they were serving us with the other vibes of music videos, but now we're deepening it. And so, yeah, basically like there's that video, and at the end of that video, Like This, we see the tire roll by, and then
the Runaway music video.
Yeah, the tire.
We're talking about the Runaway music video now.
Yeah, the tire rolls by.
Yeah. So Runaway was released on November 22nd of 2017, and it was their title track for the Demo 2 album. Like This was the title track for Demo 1. So, yes, the video starts with the tire rolling, and I love that connection. I think it's actually interesting because I honestly don't think about Pentagon videos having they don't have too much connection in my mind.
Right.
But to see, and the yellow Converse sneaker too.
Oh, okay.
That connected as well. So, we're gonna talk about it now. Runaway.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this one is a classic.
Yes.
That's how I would describe it. Like, I feel like this deserves to be mentioned alongside the greatest, like, in K-pop of that time. Like Red Velvet Peekaboo, DNA, and Mic Drop from BTS. All the stuff EXO was doing, like Power, Coco Bop. Like, I feel like this is a 2017 great.
Wow. I can't even believe that those are all at the same time. That's wild.
Yeah. But people don't consider it that, and that just isn't right. It's truly a classic. We've got some of that debut sound, but this time it's like done better.
Yeah. Like it's more advanced.
Yeah. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the song. They're giving us still vibes, but they've gotten more like tougher. Like they've gotten tougher since like this.
Yes. Yeah. This was the first, because like the first thing I saw from Pentagon was Shine, and I saw Naughty Boy as well. But both of those ones I didn't really, I wasn't pulled into them yet because I hadn't seen very much of K-pop at all at that time. I was still basically being like, oh, well, yeah, with BTS, I like Boy in Love and War of Hormone. But, you know, I didn't even really like, I wasn't in it enough, right? But so this song, Runaway, was the first Pentagon song that I saw and music video that I saw that I was like, ooh, okay, I like this one. So this was actually like, yeah, this was the first Pentagon music video that I liked, I guess you could say.
Wow.
Like I didn't dislike the other ones, but I didn't feel like I got them. So yeah, this is definitely a positive, good one for me. But yeah, without even watching them back to back, I don't even know if I necessarily would have recognized and remembered the tire thing. I think I would have I've always remembered the tire, but sometimes it's like you don't remember that it's in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's really cool because not only is it just like a connection from one video to the next, but it makes you feel like, you know, they had those troubled emotional vibes in like this, and so then they run away in this one.
Yeah.
And then they run away, but also they become like kind of, like you said, tougher. Like they're like, we're running away and we're like fighting. So we're starting to get more of these like, you know, sort of underdog troubled vibes, even if they're not necessarily exactly talking about being an underdog. You get this like, you know, it's the songs don't even sound like sad or bad or angry. They'll sound kind of like, I don't know, whatever. But you get a vibe,
Like really good.
yeah, you get a vibe of them like I don't know, fighting in some way. I don't know.
Yeah, like it's hard to describe. I know, I think I know what you're trying to get at. You have to kind of just be able to understand and like feel that and experience it.
It's kind of hard for me to like, because it's a through line. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk about it in pieces, but like once you have the whole story built, it's a little
Right.
easier to like make things fit into places.
Yeah.
But so you're gonna have to bear with me for now.
Isn't that always how it works?
But no, great video. I always really liked it, and I like the through line.
Yeah. Okay.
And the aesthetics. Once again, I think are strong, and I think they've continued to not do anything too like offensive so far at this point. You know, it's like there's nothing that ever goes too far, and I appreciate that.
Right. It also is comedic when they're dancing at the end with the cones on their head.
Oh right, yeah,
Yeah.
Do
So
they have some comedy.
So I enjoyed that video and that song. Now we're gonna be talking about one of the B-sides, which wasn't really like, they didn't do this one on stage, but or like for music shows. Okay, it wasn't a promoted song, but there is a video for it, and there's a Japanese Violet music video, which we are not actually talking about. I can talk a little bit about it right now and just say it's kind of the reverse of the Korean version of it. And so, yeah, this one is one of my favorites, the Violet music video. I just really love the aesthetics. I love the story. I love the cardigan. I love the song. I like I said, I love that the Japanese video, which we're not getting into, don't ask already. I'm sorry, we're not really including that one. But that's like the reverse story. I'm crying at Tony's acting. Like, yeah, wow, really bringing the emotion. I really also love how they edited the graphics. Like, they put the white background and they were making some, like, choices to put the video in boxes. And like it was sliding in and like the two rectangles, and then they had like the squares. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, I know of other videos that obviously do stuff like that. It's not like I've never seen that kind of thing before, but it's very rare. And I think it looks really nice. So I don't really know why it's not very common, but it makes this video stand out, I guess.
Yeah, I think this video's aesthetics are very pretty. I think, once again, very strong aesthetics. They committed and it works beautifully. It's very emotional, but I just don't get it. And that bothers me. When music videos seem like there is some sort of like thing to figure out that's going on, but I can't for the life of me follow it, it bothers me. And I've seen it so many times, and I've focused so hard, and I've tried to understand, but I just don't. And sometimes that is the point. You know how sometimes they make, are they called psychological? I feel like there's a better word. They make movies sometimes that are, cerebral is what they call them. They make movies that are in the genre of like cerebral, and you're kind of like not even supposed to understand. It's supposed to make you think, you know? They leave it open-ended and they make it very confusing so that everyone leaves the theater and they're like, oh, that was so interesting. What did you think was going on? Blah, blah, blah. And people start to speculate and to say all these different things like that. And so that's fine if you're not supposed to like get the story in things. But like, if that is the case of what's happening, I don't like that. And if that's not the case and I am supposed to understand, it's frustrating that I can't like put the pieces together. So like I said in previous episodes of this podcast, I'm really bad at understanding music videos, and it's weird. I don't get why I'm so bad at it, but I am. But
I think that this video is one of those ones where, like, yeah, to somebody who's just watching it, they'll be like, I don't really understand, or like, okay, I don't really fully get it, but there was definitely emotion. But I do think it's something, I don't really know if it's necessarily like, oh, now I get exactly what they're going for, but I definitely think that there is an approach that you could like take with it, and you could be like, oh, I think that is what they're intending, especially when you watch the Japanese music video too, and you like if you kind of, you know, what we were just talking about with the like through line and message with Runaway, like looking at the whole picture, it's easier to kind of assign the story to it. But yeah, I think it's one of those ones that's not really surface story, but kind of like you can think about it and put something together.
Well, I try. Like, I know that there could be, rather than it just being like a story about the girl and the bus and the cardigan, like those can be metaphors, it can be symbolism and stuff like that. And like, all of the people might not be individual people. They might all be representing the same person, like this kind of stuff. I get that those are things that can be happening, but like even then, I can't figure out like what of those things it is. So yeah, like I I don't enjoy watching the Violet music videos because I know that I'm still never going to get it, and it's frustrating. But I think that they are beautifully made.
Okay, everyone. Now it is time for none other than the Pentagon Shine music video. Released on April 2nd, 2018. This was a new era and the breakthrough moment for Pentagon. If you don't know Pentagon Shine, you probably actually do know Pentagon Shine. That's how relevant it is. Would you like to talk about this one first?
Sure. This is another one of those handy dandy moments that I have where I say, okay, and how come they're not famous then? Because this music video and song was huge. And I say not famous, even though they're clearly famous.
Yeah,
but
offensive.
like they don't have the recognition and standing that so many other groups would have in the same circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, they had
What's up
Chang'e
with
in their
that?
music video, you know? They had Shine, which was like the nation's song for forever, you know? Like, they've had these moments, and that yet still you can like try and watch the like end of the year festivals and stuff and like see them never there. And like things like that'll happen, and you're just like, okay, so why isn't Pentagon like included to be at the same caliber of other groups and when they've done all these other accomplishments? So yeah, Shine. This music video, now this one I can understand. They paint me a nice straightforward picture. Loser, underdog, you know, nerd, like kid that no one likes, but happy. Happy concept. You know, this is one of those songs that's like I am such a loser, but like the song cheers you up. And that's fun. I like that. And it goes great with the through line. And I also really like the styling and aesthetic. Once again, is very strong, and also it has a uniqueness to it. You know, they went for the school concept here, but it has a little bit of like, you know, just like it's not typical straight up school uniform, you know. Like they made it like trendier, but it's not even like trends, because that would be like cool kids, you know. It's like nerdy, but they don't look nerdy either. Like in Pretty Pretty, Yawon is supposed to look like a nerd.
Right.
So they didn't do that, which would be also not unique. That's typical. Typical nerd, they didn't do. Typical school kid, they didn't do. Typical cool school kid, they didn't do. I just think they delivered nicely with the aesthetic they were going for, but they made it their own. They didn't just do like a typical representation of an aesthetic.
Right. That's the thing about this video. I actually don't like the aesthetics of it. That's honestly why I avoided watching that video for so long. I knew it was gaining popularity because every day the YouTube algorithm would try to recommend me the video, and it would be sitting there, and I would see the, you know, the colored
the bars?
Yeah, the bars. And I would see that like image of them, and like I'm like, what is this concept? What are they going for? This seems so different. Why are they trying to get me to watch it? And every day it was like getting more and more views, and I'm like, wow, this song really seems like it's popping off. And so I actually was like, the aesthetics aren't my thing, but I really appreciate them and how unique it is. It's like, is it good styling? Not in my opinion, in the fact that I don't like the pieces that they're wearing.
Right.
But yes, it is good styling in the fact that it's so fitting to the concept, and it's so different and unique and like out there with certain elements, and it's like really just it is working together, and it's working for the overall video and concept of the song. So like, yeah, it is good styling.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect like example of a way that Pentagon is so like good at everything that they do. I feel like so many times I will say, spoiler alert maybe, so many other times when we talk on this podcast, I will talk about groups and music videos and stuff that we watch. And what I'll have to say, what I'll be forced to say for etiquette's sake is, it just wasn't my style. And, I didn't like the styling, but I know there are people that like that. And so, but it wasn't for me. Right? But with Pentagon, what I keep saying is, well, yes, I didn't like the styling, but I still thought it was so good. Like, I still thought that it was done so well. They did such a good job with it. And so that just goes to show how good they are at doing these things, these visual elements, these sound elements. And like, it can be a genre that you don't like or that you don't care about, but you can still tell how good of a job it is done in. Versus sometimes like the styling, it's not, I'm saying I don't like that styling. And it's a lot of it is because I think that it is bad. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't like that styling because it's horrendous. Like, they didn't do a good job styling those people. But I don't want to say that because that's kind of, it's a little harsh. So we won't point out specifics. But I don't ever feel that way with Pentagon. Like, I don't ever feel like they go so far with a specific concept that it's gone to a place where I think this is hideous. I'll just think, oh, well, yeah, I don't usually like the, like, blushy cheeks with the freckles, but it's iconic here. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. Everyone that is not a Pentagon stan that's listening right now is getting increasingly disappointed that I don't feel this way about their groups. I mean, maybe I do if you're like a DKZ fan. But I can't help it. Pentagon is doing it, not me. Pentagon is succeeding at everything and no one else can see it.
Yeah. That's like, yeah, why can't anybody else see it? Why did everybody love this song and still continue to love it? But it's like they got the recognition for it, but did they at the same time?
They didn't.
Did you really be like, yes, Pentagon, this and everything since then is just so good. You're so good. Everything you do is just great. No, you're not like that. And I don't know why. This really, Shine like revolutionized the bright, fun boy group concepts. Like, obviously, there's always groups that are doing everything. Like, every group out there is doing every concept.
Right.
Like, but I feel like Shine really was like you can't really deny that it was a standout for that concept.
Yeah. And I feel like the song got recognition, but like Pentagon didn't get any recognition, which is so messed up because like they are the song.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the only thing that people cared about was, oh, Shine, but like no one cared about Pentagon.
Yeah, and it's like, honestly, that's unfortunately become their brand. Like, that Shine became so successful, but Pentagon was like, nobody was talking about like, oh, it's Pentagon's Shine. It's just like, oh, it's Shine. And
Right.
so honestly, that makes their later stuff even like more emotional. And like, not to bring up Road to Kingdom, but like, like we got those moments in a way because of those people that weren't giving them recognition. So I don't know what to think about that. But like, Shine, just, it's an icon. It will remain an icon. It's so standout and unique, and just, it's really fun overall. When everybody like when they're still performing it to this day, whenever they go to like have a performance for not just Pentagon fans, and the whole audience will sing along, and they're not even necessarily there to see Pentagon, like they're fans of other groups, and everybody in the venue knows all the words, you know it's a hit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And like you were saying about the lighter, concept for the boy groups, I just feel like this song, much like most of Pentagon's title tracks that we're going to be talking about and that we have talked about, well, okay, not the earliest ones maybe, but like the through line as we grow, I feel like it has so much substance while still being such a light sounding song.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the lighter you go with a song and the concept, the less substance you feel like you get. But so that's what makes so many of Pentagon's lighter songs so like, integral and important, is that they still kept substance there while also making it, like you said, a song that everyone is going to sing along to.
Yeah.
Now, because of how iconic, amazing, and successful this song was getting at the time, they of course did a Japanese version of the music video as well. What are your thoughts on that one, Toad?
Okay, honestly, just to say, this was released on August 17th, 2018. So, a couple months later, it had already been a hit by this point. Now, I am pretty sure that I actually honestly like the aesthetics and like overall vibe of this one better than the Korean version. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I just think that the colors are like more fun, and I like the, again, design elements, like the little like boxes and stuff. And just overall, I think like I prefer the energy of like that aesthetic, the energy of the aesthetic. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I don't know,
I
but
think
that's
that
what
makes
I feel,
sense.
and I prefer it more for the Japanese video. I think that the buffer part is cool because it seems real when you first watch it. You're like,
really
uh-oh, the
does.
video is lagging. And I like the sideways Roni part. That's cool.
Me too.
And the like styling looks like Naughty Boy mixed with Shine, which obviously we didn't talk about Naughty Boy yet, but we'll get there. And so it's interesting because this is right in the middle of those two videos.
Wow, you can see the perfect transition. Okay. Yeah, I think that the editing is really cool. Like, they edited the video to look like the video is being edited, but not edited in a video program. They edited the video to make it look like the video is being edited in like Photoshop program.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really cool job. Like, the effects just are really cool. It's really interesting. And I just think I really like and I really appreciated how they kept the blush aesthetic. Like, the blush in Shine is so iconic. It's part of what makes it what it is aesthetically, I think.
Yeah.
And so the fact that even though they have a slightly different shift in the clothing styling, they kept the blush there. And I think that was very important, and it was very smart that they did that. Because then it still feels like a Shine aesthetic, even though it's like a little bit different.
Yeah. If somebody was covering Shine and they did not, and like, they were doing a full cover with styling and everything, and they did not do the blush, they're not covering Pentagon Shine. I'm sorry. Yeah. They're just not.
It'd be like doing HOT's Candy without gloves.
Exactly.
It'd be like doing As I Told You without hockey jerseys.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, that's all I have to say about it. It's good. I like it. Really cool and interesting thing that they had going on there.
Yes, I agree. And that's all that I have to say about it too.
Yenon,
exactly. So true. That means that it's already time already, I say, as it's been, how long has this gotten?
It's fine.
Okay, so like we said, we're doing a part 2 to finish the rest of the music videos. But today, it's time for our last video, which is Naughty Boy, which was released on September 10th, 2018. So, after the big success of Shine, it was time for another comeback. And a lot happened in between, and we're not going to get into that. But this is when I was, like I said at the beginning of this episode, like, my eyes were already on Pentagon. Like, I knew about Shine, and I knew about the situation that was happening. So while I tuned in for Naughty Boy, I was not fully there yet. But this was like, I love Naughty Boy, okay? Like, I love Pentagon. This is so good. Naughty Boy is so good, and if you don't like Naughty Boy, I just don't understand why. Can you, like, explain it to me? What is wrong with Naughty Boy? Nothing. That's how I feel.
No Yenon.
Exactly. That's the one thing that's wrong with Naughty Boy, is that there's no Yenon. I actually wrote that in my notes. Every time Yenon is not there, I wrote some mention of it, and this time I wrote no Yenon, sad face, because while there is no Yenon, Naughty Boy is still so good. I don't even know if this is like my favorite Pentagon release or something, but I feel like that's how I'm making it sound. But it's just really iconic, okay? But it's just, if I'm like praising Naughty Boy this much and I don't even know if it's my favorite Pentagon release, that just goes to show you how good their releases coming up are gonna be and are. So yeah, stay tuned for part 2 to hear about those, and go watch the videos now if you haven't for some reason seen all of Pentagon's music videos. But anyway, yeah, no Yenon, but this deserved everything and got nothing.
Yeah, no,
truly.
That's true. And yeah, coming up, like I told you guys, seriously, at some point they just decided to just pop off, and I'm like, I mean, they were popping off before, but like in terms of me personally liking the aesthetics and everything, like all of a sudden I was just like, oh my god, everything is amazing. And they're different aesthetics for the ones coming up, you know, it's not the same thing every time.
Yeah. But honestly, this song has everything, like we said, but Yenon. And Kino Applehair, the frogs, it's a cute fun dance, flawless song, really, just yeah, Naughty Boy is so good. I don't know, I always go back and forth in my head. Am I actually one of the universes that likes Naughty Boy more than Shine? I might be.
Okay.
Like, I love Shine and everything it did for them, but just Naughty Boy is so, just, I love the vibe of Naughty Boy.
I feel like they're so, like, close together to me that I don't, like, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you know, 2 peas in a pod. Like, I don't really know how to pick one. Like, they're both really good and really, like, in that same sort of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're finally bringing all the through lines together. I mean, we have been this whole time, but this is just more so everything, because we're getting those funny, lighthearted, fun elements still, but we're also getting the deeper emotional elements, you know? These guys, they're in the workforce and they're not happy about it. They're doing their construction jobs and it's terrible. But it's a lighthearted, fun song. So it's just like Shine in that sense. But I'm bringing back the through line of like the troubled life and the underdog life that we're pulling from like Runaway, you know? So we're pulling these threads forward. Bear with me now as I pull them forward into next episode. But yeah, I just feel like this is an important time, like this with Shine and Naughty Boy, of them sort of like hanging on to this concept of being an underdog. Like, this is where I feel like they're really like, because with Shine, it was like we popped off and no one cared, you know? And so then Naughty Boy, they're like, okay, I guess this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like for your life to be terrible. But they make it sound happy. and so it's nice. I'm going a little bit like, you know, uh, I'm going off script. Like, this isn't really how it feels. I'm going a little extra for the comedy's sake here. I should be more serious. I should be taking this more seriously. But I just like this song. It's really good. I like the aesthetics of it. I've never really seen, we've seen like sort of like a construction site element to a couple of people's music videos before. You know, like those girls that are like dancing at the construction site.
Oh, Girls' Generation.
Yeah, Girls' Generation. And we've seen, is it an hyphen or is it, oh, Very Very, I think? It's Very Very. At a construction site sort of vibe, maybe. But like, this one is like people that work, like construction workers, basically. We've never seen that aesthetic anywhere else. I haven't. And I think that they somehow managed to do it in such a great way. Like, I love the construction worker look that they do. Is that crazy to say?
I didn't know you were gonna say that they do. I thought you were just gonna say in general, and I'm like, okay.
No, but like,
yeah,
they're styling when they're styled that way. So
yeah,
like,
that's iconic.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, once again, they can pull off and do, like, every time, every concept, they end up styling it and doing it in like the best or most acceptable way. Like, who can say that they like the construction worker aesthetic? Like, no one. But when Pentagon does it, you say yes.
Yeah, it's so good because it's like, yeah, like literally who's doing that? The umbrellas on stage for the performances, those are iconic. The writing on the face, the carried through apple hair that's not just in the music video, the like the hoods, the, you know, like what do you call it? Like the half and half outfits.
Oh, right. Yep.
Like, just there are so many elements that are like, why? But it's working, and how is it working? The song itself, the lyrics, really great message in a really fun way, and like the backwards parts and like just the nonsense of like it doesn't make sense, and it's so good.
Yeah, I just feel like when I first saw this music video, I thought, this is so ridiculously immature and silly. Like, they're being frogs. I cannot with this, you know? But then you realize how much depth there is to it. And it's like, wow, genius. And so, yeah, I just feel like throughout time, Pentagon just really proves, like in another capacity, they just prove to continue to be serving up things with depth, even when they make them fun or lighthearted. I know I just said that with Shine, but I'm saying it wasn't just a one-off thing. They've done it multiple times, and they continue to do it as we move forward.
Exactly. So what does that mean that everybody needs to do?
Stan Pentagon.
And that is all that we have for today. So we just reviewed about half of Pentagon's music videos. We've obviously seen all of them more than once already. And we have said during this episode more than once that there will be a part 2 where we're going to do the rest of their music videos, or at least like the ones that we are deciding to do. So you can go ahead and subscribe to the BlushCat channel on YouTube and turn on notifications so that you don't miss part 2. And if you enjoyed this video, you can also go ahead and like it if you're listening on YouTube. If you're not listening on YouTube, that means you're probably listening on Spotify or wherever else you listen to podcasts. So thank you for that. Be sure to follow BlushCat there as well. Please.
If you didn't enjoy this episode, you might want to consider rethinking things, because Pentagon, if you can't tell how great they are, I feel like your life is missing a bit of brightness to it.
Oh, wow.
So maybe you could reconsider, and then you can find a new shining light. Pentagon.
Don't forget to stan Pentagon, obviously, but you can go ahead and leave a comment and tell us what your favorite Pentagon music video is out of the ones that we discussed today. You can, we can all hope the best for Pentagon. We are recording this before their anniversary. Obviously, it's going up for all of you meowers before their 7 years. So really, we don't know what's going on, but all we can keep telling you is to stan Pentagon, and maybe one day you'll listen.
Unless your definition of stan would require you to be like disrespectfully obsessive about them, in which case don't take that word seriously. We mean respect and support Pentagon.
Correct.
Lovingly, yes. And logically.
Correct. Exactly. Yes. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for doing all the things that I said, standing Pentagon, subscribing, turning on notifications, liking the video, commenting your favorite music video, and that will be all for today. This has been Toad.
And me. Bye.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.